Okay, so now that we've learned about reciprocals, we can now go and we can do our division of rational numbers. With dividing rational numbers, we're not actually going to do the division part, dividing itself. We're going to take the reciprocal and multiply. So, rule number 1, change division to multiplication. Then we multiply the part after the multiplication sign by the reciprocal. Okay, so, and then we do multiplication just like we did before. So, if we zoom in here, step 1, we're going to go equals. Okay, we're going to take the first rational number that's there and write it down the way it is. I haven't done anything yet. I'm going to take my division sign, we're going to change it to multiplication. Then we take the reciprocal of the second fraction, okay, and we're going to write it as 2 over 1. We look for where we can reduce, okay, if we can reduce before or after, it doesn't matter. I like doing it before, so we're going to go 1, and we're going to go 2, because 2 over 4 is the same as 1 over 2. And now we multiply straight through. 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 1 is 2. And that's our final answer. Okay? So, do we take the reciprocal of the first rational number? Again, this is an integer, but integers are rational numbers. Remember that they can be written as 3 over 1. So, do we take that one? No, we leave that one alone, just the way it is. Change division. We change it to multiplication. Then we take our second rational number and we take the reciprocal of that one. And that's 3 over 1. And then we do our multiplication like before. 3 times 3 is 9. 1 times 1 is 1, but we don't need to write the 1 underneath. So that would be our final answer there. Right? And it makes sense. We have 3. How many 1/3 are there in 3? Well, there's 3 1/3 in each one. And so we have 3 of them, and that's 9. At any time during the videos, if you want to stop and do the example first and then see how I do it, just to make sure that you're doing it correctly, go ahead. Okay, so here we go again. We're going to leave the negative 2 over 5 the way it is. Change our division to multiplication. Take the reciprocal of the second rational number. Look for anything that can be reduced. 10 over 5, I can go on the diagonal here. Okay, so we can look at the 10 and the 5 there. Okay, and that does reduce down to 2 over 1. So negative 2 and 2 gives me negative 4. 1 times 3 just gives me 3. And that's our answer for that one. Okay. Here we are here for D. Okay, so 1 1/4 divided by negative 3. And we can take a look at different ones. Here's something kind of neat. If you like the pointers. So I'm going to point to 1 1/4. Oh, and they give you a little lightsaber for these. So 1 1/4 divided by negative 3. All right. How do we change this around? Again, the first number, the first rational number, we leave exactly the way it is. But we need to change it into an improper fraction. We can't leave it as a mixed number when we do multiplication or division. So this will change to 5 over 4 times negative 3. Remember, I can write it as 1 over negative 3. This is the same as 3 over 1 like this. So we could take the reciprocal, it's 1 over 3. And I don't need to put the negative in the denominator. Let's keep it in the numerator. And this way, again, remember, it doesn't matter where it is. If there's only one of them, the whole number is negative. So negative 1 times 5 gives me negative 5. And 4 times 3 gives me 12. And if you look, there's nowhere to reduce in this line here. Okay, and therefore there's nowhere to reduce here either. Okay, so the negative 5 over 12 is reduced down as far as we can go with that one. Okay, and like I said, if you see those integer values, write down the one underneath it so you remember that there is a denominator there. Okay, so here again we're going to put that negative because there's only one of them. We'll put it in the numerator. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9 over 2. I'm going to change everything and then take the reciprocal. So we're going to have a negative here. All right, and we can keep our brackets around these as well. So 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3 over 2. And now I can do my negative 9 over 2. We're going to change it to multiplication. And we're going to take it as negative 2 over 3. And you can see I didn't move the negative sign there. I kept it in the numerator. Okay, that's where I want it, and it makes things a little bit easier if it's there all the time, because then I can see my final answer. Even from here, you should know my final answer is going to be positive. Okay, we've got a negative here, we've got a negative here. There's only one in each one, so it's a negative times a negative. My answer should be positive. So we can reduce. I'm going to do the reducing at the end for this one, just to show you that it works this way as well. So we're going to do negative 9 times negative 2 is 18, positive 18. And then we're going to have 2 times 3, and that's 6. What does that reduce down to? We need to reduce that down to 3. It's 3 over 1, but we're going to leave it as just 3. We don't write the 1 in underneath, okay? If I did the reducing all up here, right, we could go or, and if I do negative 9 over 2 times negative 2 over 3, if you take a look, the 2 and the 2 reduce down to 1 and 1, and then my 9 and my 3 reduce down to 3 and 1. Okay, and you still get negative 3 times negative 1, which is going to be 3, and 1 times 1 is 1. So you still get the same answer. Okay, but whichever way you want to reduce, again, is fine. All right. So here we've got 3 values, 3 different ones. And we're going to go with changing them all into our improper. So 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. And we're going to do this one step at a time. If you want to skip a few steps in between, that's fine with me, but I'm going to show it step by step right now. So times, and then again bring that negative into the numerator. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, so this becomes negative 4/3. Okay, we've got division in the middle here, so we're going to change. Okay, so there's division right here. So we're going to take care of changing this around first before I do anything else here. Okay, so, and you should work left to right anyways with these. So 13 over 4, and then change it to multiplication. So we're going to change to multiplication, take the reciprocal, but again, I leave that negative in the numerator. So 2 over 3 times negative 4 over 3. Okay? I can reduce in so many places here, and this is why I say it's a lot easier to do the reducing beforehand than later. And everything's being multiplied through here, so I'm going to look at this right now, and I can see for myself, if you don't want to do it this way, it's fine, you can do it later, but I can see 1 here and 1 here. Everything's being multiplied, so I can arrange it in whatever order I like. And that means that the 4 divided by 4 is just 1 over 1. Okay, and now instead of doing 13 times 2 times 4, I can do 13 times 2 and times 1. Don't forget those negatives there. So these two negatives, this one and this one, times this other positive value up here, 13, is going to make it all positive. So now we're going to get 26 over, and then down here we have 3 times 1, and that gives us 9. Okay, and like I said before, if you do your reducing here, then you know there's nothing to reduce here, and I can't go any further there. Okay, so that's our final answer for that one. Alright guys, so those are the examples for this section. That's the last section for review. If you can... Okay, so for homework, what you can work on, if you take a look, they're all broken up. There's add, subtract, multiply, divide. So do homework. Okay, so this is worksheet number 7. You're going to do on the first page, on the first half of that page, there's 23 to 40, and these are all just single questions, so it's not that many. 23 to 40, and then if you look on the opposite side underneath multiply, again it's 17 to 24. Okay, and don't do, it's under the mental math part, but state each answer in simplest form. So multiply through. See if you can get into the habit of reducing before you multiply. Again, it's a little bit easier because when you get larger numbers, it's harder to multiply them through. Okay, so that's it there. Try the homework. We'll take up any questions you have tomorrow. All right, and that's it.